I wasn't recording, so you saw me lip syncing for absolutely no reason, or maybe you didn't. I don't know. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my blessed beloveds out there. It's living and thriving time. You're living and thriving with Rusty, and guess what? I'm Rusty. That's really my name, but lately it's kind of how I feel too. Having to kind of heave ho out of bed lately. This is a place where your happiness matters. Today, I want to start out with saying how grateful I am. I have 165 guests lined up. This is season 2 on YouTube and season 11 on the podcast. Wow, does time fly? I have found a new love, and it's doTERRA. You can't really see it, can you? This is what I'm wearing today. I just absolutely love this collection. So highly recommend, especially if you do yoga or stretching, or you just want peace, and it really, really helps. Today's special guest is DC Glenn. Yes, DC Glenn. So as I was saying in my intro, I have DC Glenn in the house. How are you, my friend?
Yes. I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm blessed. You know, any day that I can wake up not pushing daisies, I can be ornery, mischievous. That's a good day, at least for me. Maybe not for other people, but.
Hey, every day you're breathing, right?
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Cause some mischief.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you up to these days?
Everything.
Good.
So much that it has me a little confused, I must say.
Okay. Do dish.
And I like to consider myself a person that has it together. But right now I'm confused about so many things because I have done well in my life setting up all these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we spend our lives trying to achieve a certain amount of success. But what if that success exceeds your expectation, right? So I have no doubt I'm going to handle it, but it does get a little overwhelming sometimes. And I guess that's the fun part about it, is trying to figure out what to take, what not to take. You know, you have so many opportunities, you have to balance it all. You have to think about it logistically. You have to weigh it against each other. And this is one of those mornings, right? So everything is just happening for me all at one time. And I'm having a ball, and it's a blessing, and you just deal with it.
Well, and what must be fun for you is having all these doors open. What a blessing. Your cup overfloweth.
What? First floor flooding, second floor flooding. No, it's just, okay, so in a nutshell right now, you know, I've got 2 TV shows, 2 movies coming out. I'm debating whether I want to go on tour or not. And I just signed one of the biggest voiceover agencies in the game. So everything has changed. And I knew all this was going to happen. I wanted it all to happen, but I didn't know it was going to happen all at the same time, right? So it's just about organization, scheduling, and being on top of your game. And, you know, the reason this has happened is because I have been hustling forever, right? I hustled as a DJ. I hustled in everything I do. I think differently. I play offense, and I don't look back. I don't play the pity party game. I'm not old and bitter like a lot of artists are, right? Because I've been through adversity just like everybody else. But I tend to use all that as fuel for what's ahead of me. And now I am poised to do things that I never thought imaginable. And, you know, coming off the success of this Geico thing, oh my gosh, it's like, I could have never imagined that, right? But I was prepared for it, right? And I prepared during it because it just was an interesting thing. My agent calls me, is like, "You booked a Geico commercial." I'm like, "No, I didn't." I didn't even audition for a Geico commercial because I'm thinking acting, right? And they're like, you booked a Geico commercial. They want tag team. I was like, wait a minute. Go back and check my phone. Now that goes back to tag team, and that goes back to SEO, search engine optimization, and building websites, and making sure I have breadcrumbs where people can find me, and making sure people see us, and making sure that I've crossed all the T's, dot all the I's, done my due diligence on the Wikipedia pages, and all the information that's out there about tag team is relevant. That's what had to happen over years. It took me 10 years to do that. And because I did that, Geico called the tag team phone, didn't get me, but went to the internet and found my agent on IMDb, my actors portal, and then called my agent, and my agent calls me. And that goes to show everybody that it's more than just trying to position yourself and hope that somebody sees you and get lucky. You have to make sure that you're prepared for all of that.
Well,
And
and let's back up a little bit,
Mhm.
because unfortunately, DC, I absolutely am a huge fan. Back in the day, I told you I used to DJ, so
Mhm.
a lot of tag team music. Um, but not everybody on this YouTube and podcast actually know who you are. Isn't that weird? I think that's so bizarre.
No,
So,
that's beautiful. That's the way I've always wanted it, right?
right.
Because, let me explain it. Me and Steve met in high school, right? And in high school, Steve had a band. I wanted to be in his band. I worked in the tardy office down the hall from the choir. I heard the choir wanted to be in the choir. And I heard my first exposure to DJing in like 82, where a couple of Steve's friends had two turntables and they were scratching and mixing at our high school party. And I wanted to be a DJ. And all these things came to fruition. And I got through high school, and then I went to college and got better at DJing and rapping. And me and Steve stayed together because the band disbanded because we were all growing apart. And I moved to Atlanta because Steve was down here doing the art at the Art Institute, and I had so much fun when I visited. So now I'm in Atlanta, and I'm supposed to be at CNN. Got a job at CNN, but then I started DJing at one of the premier clubs down here because the DJ was having a bad night, and I got hired. And I got hired as a cook, but I was hired as a backup DJ as well.
Mhm.
And when you slip, people take your thing, right? And once I got on the ones and twos, everybody knew I was special, and I never looked back. And DJing has served me more than anything in my life, right? And fast forward, I knew that the way we make our music, we had to make bass music to get out of the Southeast. And went to Steve, said, hey, man, we got to make some bass music if we ever going to be rap stars. And he was like, I can't make that stuff, man. I said, don't think that. Just think Planet Rock. Because Planet Rock is the essence of hip hop, because that started the B-boy generation, right? And you got Egyptian Lover, records like that, Kraftwerk, records like that. Think up tempo, not bass. And that's where Whoomp There It Is came from. People think it's this Manhattan Project and this whole rocket science project and whiteboards and everything. And all it was young men partying on a Friday night. That's it. It's that simple. It was just a simple record, right? And I was trying to work the record, and was hitting all the major labels, and they were just playing with me. And one of the major record reps was like, DC, you need to holler at Al Bell. He used to own Stack Records, and people don't know what Stax Records is. That was one of the three original black record companies, soul record companies. You have Motown, Philly International, and Stax, which was owned by Al Bell. He had put out a record called Daisy Dukes the year before by Deuce, and that was a bass record. And it went gold. So I was like, he's the person I need to talk to. And I almost gave up. Called him. Week and a half later, he calls me back. I'm like, Mr. Bell, I've got an incredible hit record. You need to sign us. And I was real passionate about it. I don't know if I was yelling or not, but I was real passionate about it. And, he was like, okay. And I was like, wait a minute, wait. You haven't even heard the record. And to this day, I'll never forget these words. He said, brother, I don't need to hear the record. I hear it in your spirit. Let's
Amen.
agree to agree. And then I gave my 2 weeks in Magic City, signed a messed up record contract. And in a month and a half, we were platinum with Whoomp There It Is.
So what is it like, you've taken a little bit of time off from the spotlight and now you're back in the game. You're kind of resurrected, as it were. How do you feel? Do you feel like you're more prepared and stronger and more able to take this social media nonsense? It's very bizarre out there in social
No,
media.
that's the misconception, right? People think back in the limelight. I don't even choose to use those words because to me, I was never in the limelight. Because I was a DJ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody came to me. I didn't have to go to anybody. If
Right.
you're at the hottest club, everybody comes to you, right? So I knew everybody. Everybody knew me. But one thing I did while I was DJing in the early 90s is that I watched all these stars rise and I watched them fall. And I vowed to never be that person. And it was because of how they carried themselves. If you treat people badly, people will take glee in
Oh
your
yeah.
demise. And I vowed to never be like that. So people like, were you happy? Were you this? Of course I was happy, but I never showed it. I didn't care about the fame or the stardom because I was already a DJ, right? It's like I knew what I was. So therefore, I'm not going to be anything that I'm not, right? And then my father pulled me to the side. He was like, son, I'm proud of you. Swoop there, this thing is great. But he said, when I was young and I was in school, I used to hate it because my friends had Cadillacs, had all the girls. They was street dudes. And your grandmother said, boy, you better stay in school. And she made me stay in school. And because I did that, I'm the one that got the Cadillacs now, and they're all broke, right? So he said, the one thing I want to part with you, son, is don't chase it because this will come to an end. Don't chase it. So I never chased it, but I kept working, right? Because we had gotten to, the record company went bankrupt. So our career was stuck. And instead of, crying over spilled milk, I was like, okay, I know I'm gonna have my day in court. Let me become a paralegal. How can I prepare for this, right? So all my whole life has been about preparation, right? So when you say out of the limelight, we've always been doing shows. We've always been doing 90s nostalgia. I've always been DJing. And I knew that we had a forever hit record when I'm sitting there in the movie theater and I see Will Ferrell dancing on the table to my song. Now I know that I have an evergreen record. Now it's my responsibility to make the money off the record, right? So I just started, and while I'm DJing in the clubs, one of the things that I've always done is make myself invaluable. And to do that, you got to be more than just a DJ. I was your sound tech, light tech. I did all your flyers. I did all your television ads. I did all your radio. I did your fashion photography. I did your calendars. I did every form of marketing because when I was at the club, I said, let me put together a business plan for the owner to show them how I can increase their bottom line. See, I've learned all this stuff about business while being in the business, right? And you make yourself invaluable. Therefore, I kind of got complacent because I had health insurance. I was 6 streams of income, right? I mean, I was, every time I wanted to go to another club, they paid me more money. So while I'm there, I might as well learn how to do all these things. And everything you learn how to do, you want to become masterful at, right? So when I was young, everybody's like, DC, you're doing this. You got too many things going, right? And I'm like, well, that's how you hustle because people are going to steal your hustle. You better have 6 hustles in the hole, especially in the streets, right? And DJ where everybody wants your slot. So you better be invaluable. And that's the lesson I try to tell people from that. And what they didn't understand, they were all, jack of all trades, master of none. And what they didn't understand is that because I am who I am, and because you live long enough and you learn enough and you think smart enough, all those hustles become one, right? They become one. And then they serve you. And now you've become masterful in some of those trades, right? So with radio, I went to start taking voiceover lessons because I wanted to be a voiceover artist, right? I learned SEO because we had a situation where people couldn't find us and the world thought Barack Obama was in our video and I could have made money that week, right? Because we did tons of press. I have another situation where I want to start going on tour again, but I can't because all the mom and pop booking agents are like, well, you only got one song. So all these obstacles that were coming upon me, I had to fight through with it's a method I call learning how to learn, right? And when they were telling me you can't be in, you can't, you're not going to be able to get shows. I was just trying to get on people's roster for SEO purposes. But then I was like, oh, I can't get shows. All right. And whenever I get stuck, I join an organization or a society or association. And those organizations are filled with people in a certain profession that have gained mastery of that profession and do it every day for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And their whole goal is to make their profession better for everybody coming in. So I just joined an organization. I joined the International Entertainment Buyers Association, AIBA. What this is, and when it comes to concerts, you have a hierarchy. You have your buyers, you have your venues, stadiums, amphitheaters, whatnot. Then you have your big boy promoters. You have Live Nation, iHeartRadio. Then you have your mom and pops, right? And then you have your managers, and then you have the artists. I go to their convention with a big Whoomp There It Is t-shirt on, and I effectively cut out the middle. And now I'm talking to the buyers. I've got my pitch perfect. My name's DC Glenn. We have a clean rap. No, how did I do it? I said, my name is DC Glenn. You might remember the song Whoomp There It Is. They're like, heck yeah, I remember that song. And then it's like, well, just out here, networking. I have a clean 90s nostalgic rap show. And I just want to know if you was interested. Here's my card. Now, if I'd have came and just said, I got a good rap show, or I'm a hip hop artist, they'd have been, no, because the insurance, these are the buyers now. You got to think like they think. And because I came with clean, nostalgic, and 90s, I saw the ears perk up. And now the thing that was my weakness, having one song, has become my strength. Because, hey, they're trying to think of ways to just fit me in if I only got one song. So it's like, you guys got that's right, you guys got Whoomp There It Is. I could put you in the middle of this little festival, and you guys will be the spark to keep it going, right? And we started doing shows I started doing 15, 20 shows a year. Then we had one promoter, he got us on tour. Now we're doing 30 shows a year, right? All because I didn't give up. I thought differently, and I hustled. So when you say back in the limelight, it was an arduous journey to get back here. We've never went anywhere, but to get to this level again, right? That took everything. That took all the things that I've done all my life. It took me going to acting classes. It took me voiceover. It took the pandemic. It took everything because, with my life, I've been laying tons of seeds, right? And when it comes to stuff like that, people say, man, everybody wants it fast, right? They want instant gratification. Everybody wants to be a star. Yeah. I try to tell people, you don't plant a seed, sit down and watch it and say, okay, seed, grow. Please grow, seed. This seed's not growing. What's wrong with this seed? I quit.
You have to have faith.
And it's not only you have to have faith, but it doesn't work like that. But everybody thinks it, but people do that, right? It doesn't work like that. You have to plant that seed and keep it moving. This is chess, right? You don't know how that seed's going to grow, right? And all the seeds I've laid in my life, I stand before you in a forest of opportunity that is just crashing down on my head because of all these seeds I laid.
I love it. I always say that I'm a farmer and all I do is lay seeds. That's why I do this.
All I do is lay seeds. And however they come back, they come back. Amen. If they don't come back, you planted a seed. Well, but they all come back.
Sometimes the seeds that you plant, they're not yours to water. And that's what's beautiful about what I do with this show is that I'm planting seeds, you're planting seeds, but they're not necessarily for us to water. They're a gift to other people to have that opportunity as well.
Yes, give what you want first, right? Amen. And my gift is just talking to people, right? But then the gift they give to me is letting me talk to them. Because while I'm talking to you, I'm working things out, coming up with new ideas. That's why I do 5 or 6 of these a day. Because it helps me talk things out, figure things out. But when I talk, people feel me.
Yeah.
They see, I give them a storytelling clinic about how this whole thing happened. And the genesis is Whoomp, there it is, but also the genesis is me. It's my hustle, right? Is, I often say, most people talk about a tool belt. Some people got a toolbox. I have a tool shed. All those hustles turn into tools that I use to make solutions for everything.
You've seen
right?
my show before. I always say that I'm the spiritual version of Home Depot.
Hey, basically, basically, and it doesn't happen unless this doesn't happen for the fact that my parents raised me beautifully. They worked me like a dog, right? And I'm so grateful because I don't fear work,
Yeah.
right? I don't fear work. And when I was 8, I realized in the blizzard that all these chores I'm doing for me, I can make money on. We had a blizzard, right? Me and my brother, we're the only ones that got a snowblower on the block. So we do ours real quick. I see Mr. Grant struggling next door. I go do his. Then we go do everybody in the neighborhood. But we don't ask for anything. But then every day when we're coming back home from school, hey, come here. Y'all did my snow the other day? Yes, sir. Here you go. $20, $30. Our parents are giving us $5 a week. You get $20 for the, and that's what started my hustle. Then I had a paper route. Then I worked at an ice cream shop. Then I worked as an AV assistant at the university. Then I started chefing. Then I started working. Then I started DJing. And I've never looked back. I've never been scared of work. Now, how does all this apply to, the music industry and the Geico commercial and all that? There's the creative side and there's the business side. And the business side always destroys the creative side, right? And
It
because
can.
there's a lack of it, right?
Yeah.
There's a lack of people understanding. Everybody signs a messed up record contract, but it's how you respond. It's how you keep going, right? I became a licensed commodities broker at that time, in the early 2000s. Now, I knew that I wasn't. I knew that I was trying to have a hedge fund. Actually, that's another learn how to learn moment. I would go around these hedge fund managers and make them, have meetings with them saying, why should I let you do my hedge fund? Because I can get Deion Sanders, Dominique Wilkins. I'm in Atlanta. I know everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, well, because of this, that, and this, that, this, DC. But what they didn't realize while they were pitching me, they were teaching me. And I learned what a hedge fund was. I walked in not knowing, walked out knowing what a hedge fund is inside out. And I knew it wasn't for me, but you know how you drop a bomb and you got collateral damage?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I do things like this, there are collateral sprinkles that come of it. That's the good parts of it, right? And the collateral sprinkle is 2000. I used to watch CNBC, didn't know what they were talking about. 2002, I know everything they're talking about. And then you move forward and you stay in the corridor and you start, you keep working, going to doing voiceover, doing SEO, going to, joining organizations, learning how to do things. And then we fast forward to the pandemic, and that just created a whole ball of issues that changed everything because we all had to stop at the same time, right? We are all in the Serengeti together. What are you going to be, predator or prey, right?
Exactly.
And what I did, I said, you know what? What can I do? Because you can't do shows. You can't do this. You can't do that. But I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I reinvented myself on voiceover. And I went back and I record every class I took, right? So I went back and started at the first class I ever took in 2008 when I used to fly to New York and LA and take classes. And it was heartbreaking because I had to listen to my 10-year-ago self, right? And listening to your 10-year-ago self is not pretty because you just know that, oh, you're like, I can't believe I was talking like that. And I thought it was the coach's fault that voiceover was difficult. And it wasn't their fault. It was me getting in my own way. And then I heard my voice script that my first voiceover that I read from a script. And it was so cringeworthy. But it was inspirational because I didn't know what they were talking about then, but I knew what they're talking about now.
Right.
And I said, I'm going to do this over and take their notes. And when I did it, and did my first voiceover again 10 years later. It was angelic because I had finally, after all those years, had mastery of my voice because I didn't quit. I kept going. It was just hard, but I didn't quit. I kept hustling. I thought differently, and I reinvented myself. And then I started booking because that was the whole month of March. I had 40 classes, 42-hour classes, and the whole month of March, I just reinvented myself, going over each and every one class, taking notes and everything. Back when everybody thought we was all gonna turn into zombies and start eating each other, right? You can't
Not
tell
me.
me that. You can't tell me that it didn't feel like that. It felt like the beginning of The Walking Dead. You could feel it in the air, right? And it was just like, reinvent yourself, stay down, hustle. Then I started booking because everything back then was, we're all in this together. COVID, right? Every commercial was like that. And I get a call from my LA coach. Hey, DC, I want to book you for a movie. I'm the casting director. I'll shoot my first movie. I'd only been
That-
acting since 2017. That was collateral sprinkles because I had got signed with the People Store agency for voiceover, right? But I had a meeting up there and the owner came in and she was like, I love your face. Put him on camera. I was like, what the heck does that mean?
You
She's
got a
like, you're an
baby
actor
face.
now. Right.
All women love that. They're like, oh,
And I went, thank you. And I went to class. And in 2017, I went every day to class, sometimes 2-3 times a day, went to every workshop, flew all over the country. I got everything I could get out of acting. And when the pandemic hit, month before, I booked my first national Pizza Hut commercial for March Madness. And it got canceled. And I wasn't upset that I didn't lose the money. I mean, I thought I lost the money. I wasn't upset at anything. I was happy because I booked. So now I shoot my first movie in Nebraska. Then I shoot my second movie 2 months later in August. Then I book Publix grocery store chain commercial. Then I book a Tyler Perry show. Here come Geico. 2020 is one of the best years of my life because I reinvented myself. I realized that all my mistakes, all my missed opportunities, because you know how it is in life, we think we missed out on something. We think we missed the opportunity. We think we messed something up. We think things have passed us by. The pandemic taught me you got plenty of time to correct all that because all the things you think were missed opportunities, you're actually doing now. All the things that you thought were mistakes, you've actually come out of that smelling like roses. Think about it. I was in a 20-year lawsuit, right? 20-year legal battle.
so do
There's
you?
no way there's no way tag team is supposed to be here. But because we fought and we were smart about it and we kept pushing, now everybody has been able to put a face with that song where it wasn't so before. And everybody in this country simultaneously knows who tag team is forever, right?
All right, my friends. So we have about 1.5 minutes left. You know
I'm
how this
sorry.
goes. It goes by so fast. I think
Hey.
you and I could chat for a really long time. I'm glad you're in Atlanta. You're about 7 hours away from me. So hi, neighbor. Um, in a real quick synopsis, what do you think you would advise other people to do to reinvent themselves? Because I too feel that the COVID was a blessing. I don't think it was a
Yeah,
curse at all. I
it's
think it was,
necessary. It's one of the things that shakes out, it's evolution. For
yeah,
me,
reset everybody.
yeah, learn how to learn. That's one thing. It's not just enough to learn how to learn and join an organization. Whatever your dream is, you join an organization, pay their little fee. You can learn about everything in that field in 2 weeks. Then you'll know if it's for you or not. If you know it's for you, then you got all the resources, you get all the people that are doing it. They can walk you through it and you can get it done and you can get to it. Right? That's what I would do. And then learn how to learn means if I got a long email and I don't feel like reading it, I dump it into AI and it reads to me. Learn how to learn, figure out different ways to do things, and never quit. There's
Never
just no
quit. I
way you
love
can
that.
quit.
What
Never.
are your movies' names so that people? I do not watch TV, so I apologize, DC.
No,
I
no,
will
no, no, no. I guess it's
tell
all
you
good. The first
what the
movie is
movie.
called My Corona, which is actually a movie and then a documentary on filming a movie in Corona. And then the second one's called The Mediator. So, and then I've got 3 or 4 projects that are coming up that are just bananas. So
That's
I
great.
am everything is on the way, and you're going to hear a lot from me.
Good.
And, I just want to thank you for having me on, because the more I talk, the better I get and the more people get from it. And I'm just trying to tell people the things that I wish somebody had told me when I was a young man. So,
Amen. And that's
thank
the purpose of this show, is to really get good with your purpose and who you are, and understand that you're going to make mistakes, and you just wipe your
Mhm.
knees off and do it again.
And it's never
Where
too
can
late.
we find more information about you?
Well, because I do SEO and I've set up everything correctly, you type in anything about me, tag team, DC, Whoomp, there it is, you'll find me.
Okay, so you
It's
don't
that
have a
easy.
website that's specifically just you with all your new projects?
Well, DC Glenn is coming. DCGlenn.com. I actually put it up yesterday just to marinate. Now I'm starting to build it. So
Yay, good.
yeah. We're going. It's and there's so much opportunity out there. We're in a brand new frontier of everything, and you can make your own
Amen.
thing custom to you. It's not like the traditional ways of doing things anymore. Everything's on the table. Remember
Yeah, and
that,
even though nowadays, like you and I being 90s people, nowadays it might be louder and more hurdles to get through. I still think if you're persistent and focused and determined, you can jump those hurdles pretty easily.
there are always going to be hurdles. It's just, you just go through them, right? People's like, how do you stop? How do you not quit? Don't quit. Well, how do you control your fear? You be scared. You can do both. You can be scared and go through it. It's just, you got to use all those things as fuel. Anything negative, take it, don't react, put it in your pocket, use it as fuel for later. And I
Amen.
guarantee you, it will drive you and take you to places you never thought imaginable. And once you see that, nothing can stop you.
Yay. I'm so
Mhm.
grateful to finally meet you in person. And I'm just really glad that you were able to share your story and your
Yes.
courage, and you're you're feisty. I love it.
Oh yeah. Hey, we could have did this for 4 hours. I've only scratched the surface.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I might have to come back. We might have to come back and do this again.
Let's do that actually.
All
Let's
right.
schedule towards the end of June, and you'll be in October. So you'll be June and October this year. That would be great.
Okay, cool.
Fair enough.
All right.
All right, love. Enjoy, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You're watching Living and Thriving with Rusty, and I'm Rusty, and this is a place where your happiness matters. How cool is that? DC Glenn is in the house, and he's just rocking it out. He knows how to hustle. He knows not to get down. There's no purpose to that. Just keep moving forward. Your windshield is so big and your rear view mirror is so small, and there's a reason for that. You're not going that way. You're going this way. So stay open, stay focused, stay determined. And yeah, you're going to skin your knees. And yeah, things are going to happen. But that's life. And like I always say, we're surfing a big molten lava rock with no steering wheel through the vastness of the universe as sacks of water. How much more of an obstacle can you really get? So be grateful for today. Do something exciting. Love each other. Go and knock on your neighbor's door. Maybe they're a zombie, maybe not. It could be Walking Dead 12, 14, 17, who knows? But do something kind for each other, and know that you're loved, know that you're beautiful, and until next time, take care.